Hello, my name is Wesley Hara. I am the UCLA Samuel A. Engineering Transfer Center Director. I'm also the UCLA Engineering Student Organization Coordinator, which makes more sense as to why I'm presenting here today. Today, I'm here to talk a little bit about space use by student organizations, as well as what the application process is. I know that some of you are interested in seeing if there is space within the school where your organization may reside. And so this will be helpful for you. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and begin. I want to just kind of give a brief overview about space use. The expectations of this, the student organization leaders are responsible for the safety of their membership while using their campus space, as well as the impact of their activities on the campus environment. And so, along with the privileges of being able to use space within the school, it is the expectation that the student organization leaders are responsible for whoever uses that space, and to make sure that your activities are not impacting the campus environment, okay? In addition, student organization leaders are responsible for understanding, upholding, and disseminating information on campus policy as it relates to your space and the activities that occur within them, okay? And so our expectation is that our leaders are understanding what's expected to be able to occupy a space and keep people safe, and that you're upholding those campus and school policies and disseminating that information to your membership and the people that use your space. Okay, and effectively, you are responsible for the space that you occupy and responsible to the people that use it. Okay. Lastly, all student organizations that occupy space in the School of Engineering must attend lab and space safety training. This is a training that will help you to learn a little bit about how to set up your space, manage access, and make sure that you're in compliance with all EH&S. That's environment, health, and safety policies when it comes to managing space on campus, okay? We'll also cover things like how to ensure the safety of your users in your room, the occupants of your room, with particular regard to organizations that are doing any design work or working with tools and chemicals, okay? So this will be a training that's going to be held on September 8th, and I look forward to seeing all of the officers there. All right. So now several organizations are interested in either acquiring space for their organization or expanding on the space that you have. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the application process. We do this every 2 years. Okay, I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself here. But I want to start off with space is a finite resource. And historically, it's been a challenge to try to accommodate everyone's needs. And so, when you think about all of the instructors and the faculty who are doing research, in addition to space for classes, it's been quite a challenge to be able to make sure that everybody has what they need when it comes to space. Okay, so given that context, we want to try to provide as much as we can for our student organizations, and our administrators and faculty work really hard to try to do that, okay? So as I mentioned, we do this every 2 years, and so we just did it last academic year. So the next call for applications is going to be winter of 2024, okay? So you can do some planning to look forward to that date if you're interested in submitting an application. Generally speaking, also, we do require all current tenants of space to reapply so that we can look holistically at what the needs are of the organizations. Okay, so keep that in mind, both for organizations that currently occupy space and want to reapply to be able to stay in that space, as well as for new organizations or organizations that are wanting to expand on their space, okay? What happens after the applications are collected is a faculty review committee is convened, and they sit down and review all these applications, and together they'll determine how the school and the departments can work together to accommodate the space needs of the student organizations, okay? After they review that and make decisions, then our goal would be to announce what the new room assignments for the next 2-year cycle is in spring quarter, okay? Which will provide some time to plan for moves, which will happen over the summer. And so for this academic year, we're still working on the moves of some of the organizations that are going to be acquiring different or new space. Okay. We want to help organizations, particularly new organizations that don't currently occupy space. If you need them, there will be a time in the winter quarter where we'll be asking if there are any new organizations that don't currently occupy space that need them. Okay. I have to say that, the formal process is with this 2-year cycle. And so within the year, we will do the best that we can to try to see if we can accommodate any of the new organizations. All right, so for those of you who might be interested in applying in the future, or those of you who are occupying space that want to re-up and apply to keep your space, here's what's included in the application. And so effectively, information requested in the application includes a summary of your organization, who will occupy the space, and specifically, we're looking at whether or not you have different project teams that are going to be included in the application and will occupy the space if we offer it to you. We need to know the list of officers. We definitely need to know the name of your engineering faculty advisor and some demographics on your membership, okay? We also want to know a little bit about what your current situation is. And so we're going to ask if you have any campus locations that your organization currently occupies. For some organizations, I think that some of you actually have some space outside of the school. And so we want to know about those as well, okay? We also want to know if you have reached out to your department to request space and to see what the outcome of that request was, okay? The next kind of bucket would be the summary of your space needs. And so this is an explanation of your specific space needs. Some of you have some very specific things. Bruin Racing, you have large prototypes. Your cars need to be able to fit into your room and need to fit in storage somewhere, right? And so, as part of the original allocation to the space that you're in right now, consideration was made to find a room that had adequate doors to be able to bring your prototypes in, okay? Other organizations may need access to a sink. So we want to know some of those specific needs. We also want to know what it is that you're going to be doing in that space, right? And so you'll have to give an explanation of what the activities are that you're planning to host within that space. We want a little bit of information with regards to square footage, right, of the space that you're requesting. And we'd love to hear from you if you think there's a space in the school that you think would work well, okay? And, just as a suggestion for us to have a place to start at, okay? We also need to have a list of tools, equipment, materials, and chemicals that you plan to either use or store in that space, okay? The next bucket will be your safety, access to your room, and facilities management plan, right? And so mention that along with the privilege comes some responsibility. And so we need to know what your plan in place is to provide any sort of training on safety or standard operating procedures for the activities that you're doing in your space. We want to know how you're going to manage access to your room, right? Who gets to have keys and what's the collection, I should say distribution process as well as the collection process to make sure that those keys come back. And then the facilities management plan, right? And so how are you going to maintain that space, right? Because trash is an issue. And storage for, long-term storage of items that really should be thrown away is an issue. And so what is your facilities management plan? The next bucket would be the summer storage plan. And so the school designates all student organization space allocated to the organization during the academic year. And this is particularly focused at the rooms in the Student Creativity Center. But the school does have need for some of this space, or I should say could have need for some of this space over the summer for its summer programs. And so you will also need to provide a summer storage plan for the items within your room, okay? The last thing is you do need to, sign an agreement to uphold the UCLA engineering and campus policies with regards to managing campus space, lab and space safety, and to be responsible for the space your organization occupies. This has to be signed by your president, your department, as well as your faculty advisor, okay? So rest assured, we will be hosting an info session with a little bit more of the details with regards to the application and how to submit that in the year that we're accepting the space use applications. All right, so that's all I have for the space use. I will cover this academic year's assignments in the Student Creativity Center in that section of the presentation. Thanks and have a great day.